It was Texas, it was Tennessee.
Alrighty, folks, welcome in. You have arrived at the Texas to Tennessee podcast. My name's Steve. Over in the top left corner, that's our friend Soul Gravy, and been looking forward to this one for a while. Kody West has joined us. So, Kody,
How's it
welcome.
going?
Good to see you.
Likewise. Thanks for having me on.
Oh man, it's our pleasure. I've been sitting around for weeks trying to think of what I'm going to ask you. So,
Well, good.
should be
Glad you had plenty of time.
yeah, all kinds of time. I think what we would like to do, maybe just to get started, if you don't mind just taking a minute or two and giving us just a little bit of background in case there's some random person out there that's not familiar with Kody West.
Sure. So I'm from Denton, Texas. Started playing music probably like as like a gig, like my senior year of high school, just playing anywhere I could, those 2-3 hour sets. And then I started working as a tour manager for a band out of Lubbock, Texas. So I got a lot of hands-on experience figuring out how to logistically move around the southern half of the United States as a band and try to herd a bunch of cats. So I learned how to kind of do that. And that was probably like 2015 and 16. And I had been, writing songs and, accumulating songs and stuff like that. And I went to go make an EP in 2016 with Ben Hussey and Josh Serrato over in Stephenville, Texas, in a little double wide trailer, or it might have been a single wide. I don't know, one of the two.
Right.
And we made that EP Higher Ground in like 2016. I put that out, and then I was still like using different band members from other bands during that phase. And then about 2017, I finally had like a set, other 3 guys on stage with me that were full time. So since like 2017 till now, like we've just been traveling around playing music as a band and releasing music as often and as much as we can. So
Cool. For those that aren't familiar, or if you care or not, but Josh is insanely talented musically, but also from a production standpoint, it seems like he's just doing some amazing things. And
yeah.
Ben used to play for my favorite band, so super cool.
Which one? He's played for many.
That's true. Sorry, I should clarify that. Six Market.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, those guys are my jam. All right,
Absolutely.
so this is a little game that we play. This is just Soul Gravy and I on this one, unless you want to hop in.
Okay.
I quiz Soul Gravy on famous people from your hometown, and he just has to tell me why they're famous. So
Okay.
I realize that you're originally from Denton. We had Mike Ryan on recently, and we used up all the famous people from Denton. So,
Is he is like from Denton as well? Like he was born in Denton?
no, he's actually from close to San Antonio, I believe.
Okay.
But we used. I don't think we learned.
He had a stint in Denton. I know he
did.
lived here for a while.
Yeah. So we used up. We had like a list of 30 people. We only have 4 tonight, unfortunately. But shout out to Collinsville, Texas. So Collinsville is about an hour and 20 minutes west of Paris. So if that helps, Soul Gravy, I know we just recently referenced
Definitely.
Paris the other night. And then about an hour and 20 minutes north of the center of Dallas. Is that about right, Kody?
Yeah, depends on how fast you want to drive, but yeah.
Makes sense. So yeah, that's where home is now, and we're gonna go first off with 2 people actually from Collinsville, and then we're gonna pick 2 people from Grayson County to kind of wrap it up here.
It'll probably be new to me too, because I just moved to Collinsville, so
All right,
pretty new.
educational all the way around. I like it.
Absolutely.
All right, Bill Denton, Soul Gravy. Why is Bill Denton famous?
I'm not sure. I don't know if I know the name.
It's a tough one. He won the silver
Okay.
medal in gymnastics in the 1932 Olympics.
Okay.
And I'll give you another chance. Where were the 1932 Olympics?
Paris.
Los Angeles, which they
I
will be
was-
returning there in 2028. So shout
I
out
just
to
thought
LA.
maybe it was a trick question since you mentioned Paris.
I think
Yeah.
I think the Olympics after Los Angeles was in Paris.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
Very close. This one, I'm 100% sure you're not going to get this one, but you can go ahead and take a stab at it. William H. He went by Alfalfa Bill Montgomery.
I don't think I'm familiar with his work. No.
Nope.
No.
He was the ninth governor of Oklahoma.
Oh.
So a Texan.
Okay.
All right. Is it Tioga? Is that right?
Tioga, yeah.
Tioga. All right. Somebody pretty famous from there. His name's Gene Autry.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Gene Autry's work. Yes.
All right. Well done. You're one out of
Thank
three.
you. 1 out of 3.
This one's a
Okay.
little
Fun,
tricky.
do you mind if I butt in?
No.
ahead.
Yeah. Fire away.
Funny sign that used to have in Tioga. If you were driving north on 377 across from like this lumber depot, they had this sign forever. It's not there anymore. I think someone stole it or something. But it said, "Please continue to play for Randy Travis, one of our own."
Oh,
Did I say
okay.
play or pray? It said,
Yeah.
"Please continue to pray for Randy Travis, one of our own."
That's sitting in somebody's man cave right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he lives up here as well in this
Yeah.
area.
You know what? I think I knew that because he's down. He's to the west of you and south. I think a little bit maybe. Somewhere
Yeah.
relatively close.
Yeah.
Shout out to Randy. He had some new music come out the other day. So, all right, last one is Benny Benyon. This one you might know, maybe.
Is he related to Jack Benyon? No, we don't have that information.
Who's Jack Benyon?
He was part of some of the casinos.
Okay, yeah, you're on the right track. So Jack, I think was his son.
Horseshoe Casino. I could be wrong.
Very close. I think
Okay.
Jack was his son. Maybe one might have got. Well, I think they both got in trouble. Benny is
Possibly because that name went away at some point in time.
yeah. So he's a famous card player.
Okay.
He had an incident in Dallas. Dallas, at one point, it was even a dry county. So, anyway, they didn't allow gambling there, and he had a little business going on down in Dallas. But he decided to move to Nebraska and then to Las Vegas. He opened Binyon's Horseshoe, that's what you said. That's where they used to hold the World Series of Poker.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
Shout out to Benny Benyon.
No,
All right, Kody.
That seemed like it was I remember that for some reason as far as the name, and then all of a sudden it was just not on their advertisements anymore. The
was gone.
Horseshoe Casino is still there,
Right.
but not the Binions part. So
There's some drama behind that whole thing. We won't get into that tonight.
that's another podcast.
That's our poker podcast that will be coming up shortly. Kody, thanks for bearing with us on that. Now we're going to get into some questions for you. This is the weirdest one. It's all downhill from here. So, first question is called the pie question. So I'm going to give you a pie, and I want you to divide it up into, or we're going to divide it up into four
I only
sections.
know like 3.14. I don't know that much after.
different pie, but close.
Okay.
Yeah. So the four sections of the pie have to do with the music business. So first piece, or the first section, is the creation of the music, so the songwriting. Second part is recording. Third part is performing. And then the fourth part is this piece that's kind of everything about running your own music business. So my question to you is, my first question is, where do you think you kind of gravitate towards? Any of those one pieces that you go, yeah, that's my jam. That's what I'm best at.
I'm probably better at like the music portion of it. You kind of have to like learn the business portion, like if you want to get serious into it. So it's kind of like a thing you have to get into. But I think initially what starts all this is the music, right?
Hopefully.
So my analogy when I talk about this, kind of like the chicken and the egg kind of thing, like, because it was always like to have a band, you have to have songs Well, like I know this chicken and egg is two things, but like to have a band, you have to have songs, and you also have to have shows booked. But you also have to have shows booked to keep a band, and
Right.
you have to write songs to keep shows booked and have a band. So it's kind of like and then yeah, the fourth piece of that puzzle is managing all that and trying to figure out the best way to spread yourself over all that as equally as possible. But I think what naturally comes is definitely the music side, and then you just kind of pick up on the business stuff like as you get more serious about it, I guess.
Yeah,
If that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're definitely. If you look at the folks that I don't know, seem like at least from the outside, seem like they kind of have it figured out. They do have that balance. You know, they're
Mhm.
great songwriters. They've been in the recording situations enough that they know what it is that they want and what it is that they like, and kind of what direction that they want to go, and have the right people around them. Obviously, that's huge. You know, pretty important. But we do find there's a decent amount of folks that gravitate towards the songwriting, and then there's another section of folks that generally gravitate towards the performing. That's kind of what maybe they look at that as like the reward, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, performing is definitely like, yeah, I love playing shows. There's something like super fulfilling about like I don't know. I guess they're kind of equal. Like when you write a song and you think it's great, like, and it's something that like you get in your car and you're listening to your voice memos and you like that's all you're listening to is just like your little shitty recordings of like the song you just did 5 minutes ago or that's like super fulfilling because it's just like, oh, I just made this and like that's really cool. But then like it's super fulfilling walking off stage after a show and that's like a huge show like Billy Bob's per se or like Whitewater Amphitheater or any like big show like that. When you're walking off stage you just feel like this sense of like, oh, we just did that. Like that was nuts. And that was so much fun. Like I wish I could remember it. You know what I mean? Because like stuff
Right.
like that goes by so fast.
Hmm.
But yeah, I guess performing and songwriting. I guess songwriting would be like what I gravitate towards most, and then next would be performing because like that's important, and then yeah, the whole like business side of it.
The rest
Just
of it,
like I
yep.
said, yeah, because it just kind of falls into place
Um,
as you get like progressively more into it.
yeah, that's great. From a songwriting standpoint, it's kind of a worn out question, but do you have a specific kind of way that you arrive at, or get songs delivered to you, or however everybody
Yeah.
has a little bit different? I'm just curious what yours might be.
Yeah, typically like I'm more like music first. Like I need to have like a solid guitar part or a lick or at least like a good solid like verse and chorus structure for me to like really form like melodies and words. I'm not one of those cats that can just like come up with words and then go to the guitar and
Yeah, that's
transpose it. I wish I was. There's a lot of people that are super talented that can do that. I just need to have like a base of structure and like just like the music first before I can start. Like I come up with lines and I'll come up with phrases and words and stuff like that I'd like to use in a song, but it's never like, oh, I wrote this verse today while I was walking down the street, like, and then I just knew like, oh, that was a G, A minor, D, and
right,
I
right.
that's just not I can't do it like that. So for me it's music. So it's either me coming up with something or my guitar player Ben will, he'll send me like 7 things that he did in, a span of a week or 2 weeks. And it's just like, oh, that's cool. Let's expand on that. And so yeah,
Cool.
for me it's music first.
In terms of, I guess are you are you the kind of person that goes, all right, I'm going to dedicate from like 8 to 10 this morning to write, or are you more kind of free flowing amongst your day, or how does that?
Yeah, I wish I was probably more scheduled. That would probably help.
Everybody's different.
But yeah, it's a lot of it's just like I'll just find myself like itching to do something and I'll pick up a guitar and then that'll be like then I'll realize like, oh, this is what I needed to do. I needed to sit down and try to hammer something. Even if it's just like even if it's not writing a song, even if it's just like playing an old song or playing like playing a song by one of your favorite artists, like, you know, or just wanting to learn a song that you've always listened to your whole life, and then you're like, I'm gonna sit down and learn this song, and oh, those are the words, that's what they've been saying
Right.
this, you know, the past 20 years.
Nothing
I
wrong
thought
with
they
it.
were saying something, but
Exactly.
nowhere near what I thought they were saying, you know. So you know, even that can like jar
Must have been a
something
Pearl
like,
Jam song.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
I'm still trying to. I see the words,
Oh,
and I still try to figure that out.
yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, I just sometimes, yeah, you just kind of force yourself to get into it. Definitely, I like morning time writes. I feel like when you're kind of waking up, but I mean, you know, late night stuff too. I love. Um, Sometimes, you know, we'll go in the studio and we'll get a track down, and I'll just get the instrumental bounced over, and then I'll just sit here and, you know, in front of my speakers and just, you know, write with the speakers. And, you know, I'm not playing it, but I can at least, you know, listen to the instrumental of a track and come up with words and melodies and stuff like that. So that's fun to do.
Cool. Well, and I think I know that you've had quite a few things happen in the last year to kind of change your world view, or moving and, you know, family and whatnot.
Yeah.
Has that changed? I guess your availability to be able to write.
Um, yes and no. I mean, I do. I mean, my weekdays are just kind of like any other musician. You know, there's a lot of spare time, even on show days. I mean, show days are it's a lot of hurry up and wait. So I
right.
mean, it's a lot of it's a lot there is a lot of time. No matter if you're, you know, if you use that time wisely is up to you. Um but yeah, I try not to let it be a hindrance. Yeah, I've really enjoyed writing songs with other people as of late. You know, mainly like close friends and stuff like that I'm comfortable writing with. So
Right.
like that's been kind of nice. Just it's nice to have another brain working at the same time, and, you know, and trying to strive towards like what's the cool line, what's the next thing we're gonna say, how can we circle this back to the verse, how can we make this make sense. So I've really enjoyed that.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely put a strain on, like, you know, being able to like focus on some things, but that's all, you know, we've all moved and stuff like that, so we're all good now. So I
Cool.
mean,
Good.
yeah,
Good.
we got new music coming out like in I think we have a song coming out in March,
Oh,
sometime
nice.
in March. Don't have like a solid date, but
Yeah.
still still hammering that in, but
Cool.
it'll be out like in March ish.
All right. Good. And then, not to press you too hard, but maybe some stuff later in the year.
Yeah, we worked on a bunch of stuff last summer. That's definitely more like acoustic driven. I know we've been doing like a lot of rock stuff recently, or rock sounding stuff, alternative like. Um, but I love. I mean, my fans will know when I break in the middle of a full band set and do acoustic stuff. You know, I love songwriter stuff. Like, that's just always been a part of like my, you know, style and stuff like that. So I love like big full production sounding stuff, but then I also loved, you know, I love a nice stripped down acoustic song, because, you know, that's how I started. I didn't start with a band, you know,
Sure.
you know,
Right.
from the get go. So, and I'm comfortable playing acoustic by myself. You know, some people aren't, and, you know, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
I totally get it. Some nights
Mhm.
you know, I wish I wasn't fine with it. I wish I had another guy up there with me sometimes, but
Right.
I love playing by myself on stage. So it doesn't really bother me. But
Cool. Well, we'll be looking forward to the new stuff. I know, it's always exciting to have new stuff coming out. So yeah.
absolutely, yeah. Like this song coming out in March. I literally recorded this like 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
It's just kind of been sitting on it. It was kind of fun to go back and open it up over the past couple months and play with it. I pretty much rewrote verses and a bunch of different stuff, but it was kind of fun. I honestly like kind of forgot about the song, honestly, and it was just like, oh yeah, this is sick. We need to put this out.
Right. Well,
But
it's
yeah,
like a present. Yeah.
I just went in the studio, and uh, I did pretty much everything other than drums on it. I did keys, bass, guitar, and then we had a guy play drums on it that killed it. But yeah, I'm excited about this song. It's gonna be more of like an alternative song, but I don't know. I love it.
Yeah, cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, we will make sure and get it on all of our playlists. If I haven't said thanks for joining on TikTok and YouTube, we appreciate you. Go ahead and
Yep.
hit the subscribe button if you wouldn't mind. And then, yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us.
So I guess first I want to say, coming up and speaking of March, you're going to be in my neck of the woods in Memphis.
Oh, okay, cool.
With Austin.
Growlers, I think, is where we're playing
Yes,
in
sir.
Memphis.
Yes,
Growlers,
sir.
yeah.
Yep.
Have you
Growlers.
been there?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Is
a
it
bunch
cool?
of times. It's just a room, and it's just it's nothing fancy, but there's nothing wrong with it either, if that makes sense. It's just a nice music hall.
Nice. Oh yeah.
I mean, there may be a punk band playing there the next night. It's wide open and all over the place. So
Cool, man.
yeah, I guess the last one we saw was American Aquarium there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Well, if it's good enough for them, it's probably good enough for us. So.
Cheers.
So yeah, I'll see you. I'll see you at that show on. I think it's the March 20th, I believe. If that's right.
Nice.
With Austin Mead. I
Yeah,
believe
yeah,
it's gonna
yeah.
be out with you.
I got my calendar right here. Let me look and see. Yeah, March 20th. Yeah, Growlers.
Okay. But one of the things that was standing out to me when you were talking about all of that stuff is I guess it's kind of tell me you're an independent artist without telling me you're an independent artist, because you were you're like we're gonna do this stripped back thing, song, and then we got an alternative sounding song, and we've been doing this heavy stuff for a while. Basically, you've been able to do whatever you kind of feel like you want to do, which is kudos to you for that.
Yeah.
Not everybody
Thank you.
has the opportunity to do that, and that just shows you're able to scratch a bunch of different itches. So
Yeah. I mean, I as a teenager growing up in Texas, you're subjected to Texas country. Obviously, I mean, you're just like so when but I grew up with my older brother was 6 years older than me, so I grew up listening to Bowling for Soup and Linkin Park and Chevelle and
right,
all those early 2000s bands and grunge stuff. So that was like a heavy base of like my music upbringing. And then once you hit high school, it's just like, oh yeah, Stony LaRue's cool. Wade Bowen's cool. It's just like you just kind of you're trying to sneak into all the bars and honky tonks, and hang out with all your friends and stuff. And, those are the people to go see. So you just you fall into that Texas country stuff, and then you start a band. It's just like, well, I want to go open for those guys because I mean, they're why not? So in Texas, like I love being from Texas because there's such a market to if you're a band, like this is the great place to start playing music because you're gonna be able to play as much as you want. I can't say that for every state has a market like that, but I mean in Texas you can go play Lubbock, Houston, and Dallas all in the same weekend if you got enough gas and and have a good time and play across almost 900 miles and see people that I don't know, it's really fun. So it's a great base point. It's a great launching pad for a lot of young bands to play, and I'm super fortunate that we've been able to make a splash down here. So it's just like if just trying, if we can have a fan base like we have in Texas and surrounding areas, scattered out throughout the country, that's all I could ever ask for.
We lost him. He'll be back.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's all right. Well, I got other questions for you. We're gonna get to halftime here in about 5 minutes. I'm gonna play a song, but
Cool.
while we wait on Soul Gravy to get back, I actually want to talk about football. You cool with that?
Sure, we can talk ball.
All right. So I was doing some. I thought I knew quite a bit about you. I did learn some things about you the other week, but I didn't know. So I'm searching up, and there you are. I found your recruiting page. So shout out to you, tight end at Dead and Ryan, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I played football growing up. Definitely, I didn't do anything after high school. I had some pretty good injuries. I tore my right ACL, or I tore each ACL my junior and senior year. I forget what order it was, left or first or right first, but yeah, I figured I would have a better chance of not tearing it again playing music on stage, but
Yeah, that's
I'm
fair.
sure the day is gonna come, brother, where it happens.
Yeah, welcome back, Soul Gravy. We'll get back to the football talk when
Yeah.
Soul gets through his questions here.
No, I don't mind the football talk at all. It's
Well,
going to be a nice weekend.
well, yeah, it should be a fun one. So, Kody played at one of our biggest high schools in the state. Has a really a powerhouse called Denton Ryan. Kody played tight end, and while I was doing some research, I thought I knew quite a bit about Kody, and then I found his recruiting page and I started looking up his shuttle times, and yeah, it was awesome.
Slow.
No, dude, you were doing good, man. You were doing good.
For
So
a tight
anyway,
end, I was running left guard speeds as a tight end.
no, man, it was cool. I was, because sometimes, at least on this end, you never know what you're going to find, and as you start to dig a little bit deeper onto page
Yeah.
3 and 4, and so I was like, oh, and then I looked at the picture. I'm like, well, that's Kody.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
anyway.
I if I was gonna play in college, I definitely would have like pursued deep snapping because I loved like deep snapping in high school. I was
Yeah.
PAT, field goal, punt snap, and coincidentally, my guitar player, he was a deep snapper and offensive lineman at Midwestern State in Wichita Falls.
Oh yeah, cool.
So he actually played college ball, but yeah, I
Nice.
never made it on.
Well, yeah, you gotta start the band dream at some point.
You got to
So-
pick your lane.
right. Well, and then since we're on football, I'll just ask one more question, and then maybe we'll go to the halftime exercise, keeping it football related.
Okay.
Um, I saw that you got to play the UT spring game. Is that right? Got to open.
So that was they had a giant. That was a funny gig. So they had this giant stage set up for us to play, and my drummer's not going to care I'm saying this, but my drummer, he had the absolute. We played like San Marcos or San Antonio or something the night before, so we're already like in South Texas.
Yep.
So we're driving up 35 to Austin, and we got to be there at like 8:30 a.m. to load in and sound check. So
Right.
my guys, after they hit up, I don't know if you've ever been to South Texas, but they have these late night taco shops called Fuego.
Yep.
Well, they hit up Fuego, and I knew better, but they got some stomach. They had some. I don't know if it was food poisoning, but they got sick. My drummer
They
got
were ready for it. Yep.
he was hurling in the van, just sweating. it was the worst. And we call the lady and we're like, hey, listen, our drummer not so hot right now.
Right.
He is it's rough. And
Touch
of
and
course
go.
she's probably thinking like, yeah, okay, whatever, guys. Like I'm
Right.
sure they're just like trying to get out of playing a gig, whatever. They don't want to show up, whatever. We get there, we open the door, and Tyler's literally just like sweating, just throwing up in a trash can, just and she's like, oh my God, we need to get him to the green room. So she literally walks in. I think she felt bad after. So I ended up playing acoustic. Yeah, it was the UT spring game. I was on this giant, probably like 40 by 40 or bigger stage. I don't know. It was
wow.
huge. It was
Yeah.
this giant stage. We're supposed to play full band. I just go up there acoustic. I mean, it was fine. I did the gig, but
Right.
I was in my truck and the band was in the van because I went as soon as I got done playing, I went turkey hunting in like San Angelo or something like that. But
A useful weekend.
yeah, it was. Yeah, sometimes you got to call an audible, and
Yeah.
and you just got to roll with it. But yeah, he was not too hot that day.
Yeah. That. So
I wish I could have gone to the game. I would have gone. But those turkeys, it was
Yeah, they were calling.
it's
Well,
turkey season.
UT doesn't do anything small, so I was curious. I pulled that up and I was curious. I'm like, oh man, I bet there's a story there. So
Yeah.
cool. Well, we're at halftime, I think. Yeah, within 17 seconds, so we're pretty close.
Right?
We selected a song called Kody was nice enough to let us pick one of his songs. So we selected one called "Playing Cards."
There you go.
Would you like to give us a little intro on that song before we play it?
Sure. So In my catalog of songs, Playing Cards, Horses, and Million Miles are in a bubble together. They're in this like weird alternate tuning that if you're gonna play the songs live, the guitar needs to be like already tuned, or it's gonna take me, at least like 7.5 minutes to tune my guitar to this like weird open DAD-GAD. It's like DAD F sharp AD, I think is the tuning, but
Oh wow, okay.
it's super weird. No one would ever use it if they were smart. But so yeah, those three songs are in that tuning, and yeah, Playing Cards is like this. I was really big into like bluegrass music. I mean, I still am. I'm a huge Martin guitar fan, as you see behind me.
Right back there.
So like Martin guitars and bluegrass music are like, I love it. That's what I'm probably listening to on YouTube at 2:30 in the morning. That and pyramid conspiracies. So
Nice.
bluegrass music is just huge to me. So like I just wrote that song. It's about I think the song is actually about twin brothers, and they're identical, and one commits a murder or does some sort of crime to go to jail, and they arrested the wrong one.
Gotcha.
So the wrong twin is imprisoned for a crime he didn't do. That's the main breakdown of the song.
Cool. Well, we will give it a listen, and I'll go silent during this so we can get a good cut of it.
Cool.
In case you haven't heard it yet, folks, this is Playing Cards.
One thing to add to that conspiracy, another thing for you to look at 2:30 in the morning is, did the bluegrass actually start from the tombs, from the pyramids?
Oh, there we go. I didn't even think about that.
Tater fact. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
There you go. Kody West Playing Cards, y'all.
I was born in the Southlands. I was raised in that old prison farm. Every night we watch them run, never did they see the sun. On the day I was dragged in, we saw the razors tangled like vines. The warden told me not to run, many men fell by his gun. I spent 12 long years on this farm, chasing irons and playing cards. Yeah, I'm so tired of playing cards. Ain't much left for us to do, and dreaming or running ain't no use. Every night I lay here, often wonder what it is I did. It's too late to tell my side, I'm just glad to be alive. Oh, my brother knows not what he did, oh Lord, he's a stranger to the lion's den. I guess we kind of split the blame, we share the face and the same last name. I spent 12 long years on this farm, chasing irons and playing cards. Yeah, I'm so tired of playing cards. Ain't much left for us to do, and dreaming or running ain't no use. I said ain't much left for us to do, and dreaming or running ain't no use.
Yeah, man.
There it is. I love that song.
So I'm curious when you listen, like you had to sit there and listen to your own song there for for 3.5 minutes or whatever. Do you sit and nitpick it apart? Because that was, what was that? Was that 2017? Was that right?
I think yes, so 16. I think yeah,
Something like
somewhere in
that.
there.
So I mean, here we are 9 years later or so. I mean, do you nitpick that apart, or are you
I mean,
you just you?
I mean, I mean, like I said, that was recorded with Ben and Josh, literally in a single wide trailer. So you had to cut the AC to like track drums and like, so the mics didn't pick up. I mean, so if, like for what it is, like, I mean, I'm sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's just, but it just, I think stuff like that just like shows the growth and how artists evolve or how musicians evolve. I mean, it's just like sounds mature and things.
Is that what you think of when you listen to something like that from earlier on? Or do you think of anything when you hear it?
Honestly, I was thinking about Brian playing the guitar and the banjo there at the end.
Yeah,
The buddy that
badass.
tracked guitar and banjo for me, his name's Brian Wright. He's from Ponder, Texas.
Oh yeah.
This absolute freak of nature on anything like banjo. He grew up playing banjo and fiddle, and then like he started picking up guitar and like uh just like he's just a bluegrass maniac. And I would go over to my uncle's house in Ponder, and we would go across the street to Brian's uncle's house. It was his uncle lived across the street from my uncle, and we would sit in this garage, and they'd sit in a circle and play bluegrass music. And it was really like the first time I'd heard bluegrass and heard harmonies sung like that. And it was just like, oh my god, this is great, just for sitting in this garage. Like, this is not what I was expecting. So there was a fiddle player, a mandolin player, a couple of guitar players, and banjo, and it was just insane. They had an upright bass player too. And so yeah, when we recorded that song, I was like, Josh Serrato was like, dude, I don't think I can play guitar on this song. Like, even like Josh was just like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, I think I have a guy that might be able to do it. So I called Brian, and he was like, yeah, come pick me up. And I was like, and so I picked him up at like 8 or 9 in the morning. We drove down to Stephenville, and he did it in like 2 or 3 takes or something like that. And it was just like, dude, you're absolutely insane. Because that banjo part at the end is nuts. I mean,
Those rolls are sick, man.
I don't play
I mean,
banjo, but I'm just
yeah.
in my head, I'm just trying to like comprehend that, and I'm just like, I don't know, I don't even, I don't get it. But yeah, dude, I mean, it probably, like, production wise, it probably sounds a little more raw. I mean, than compared to like what we do now, because I mean, it's a totally different studio, and so many different variables. But no, I don't sit here and just like, oh god, that sounds so bad. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, because in 2016, when I was listening to that in my car, after getting those files back, you're like, oh, this is fucking awesome.
Well,
This sounds
it's still
great.
awesome.
Yeah. So I mean,
Oh, yeah. It
no,
is.
I don't.
I was more. I guess I was more just curious of what you think of when you hear that. If it takes you back to a place or a
For
time
sure. Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever, and when like you mentioned, it took you back to your guitar player, and
Yeah,
that's
it takes me back to driving home from Stephenville on 281, and just listening to like those like 6 songs on repeat.
like we're
Yeah, because that was also like the first time I'd ever heard myself like with a band behind it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Anything I'd ever recorded in the past was just all acoustic. So I'd never heard myself with like any kind of band other than playing live. And I mean, you don't really hear yourself. You know what I
Right.
mean? You're not out front, so you don't really know what it's like. So I mean, it brings me back to like like just making music like for the first time seriously, and just like getting into that whole world, and learning about that, and watching the guy on the computer, and just like, oh my god, there's so much. Like, for people that don't know like how music is like recorded, there's so much that goes into it. It's just like, it's better for someone just not know like how the
Right.
cheese is made or how the sausage is made, because it's just like there's so many things that go into making a song sound the way it does that 99% of people just don't comprehend or don't understand.
Understood. Back to his pie question a little bit. As far as that studio time is concerned, are you pretty comfortable in the studio, or is that a nerve-wracking time for you? Or
No, I love it. And I mean the guy that we record with, very good friend of mine. So I mean that also helps. It's not like I'm
yeah,
nervous going in there trying to impress somebody. So yeah, I mean it's I think as an artist, like it's nice to be able to record with people you're comfortable around and that you can be free around and crack jokes with and also be serious with and stuff like that. So yeah. What was the question?
just being comfortable in the studio in
Yeah,
general.
I'm very comfortable. It's that's almost the fun part because by the time you get to the studio, if you're doing it correctly, I mean, or you can go to the studio with nothing and make a song. I've done that. That's how when I have a song October. Literally, I didn't have a song at 10:30 in the morning, and then by 11:30 in the morning in the studio, we had a song. So I mean, things can happen in the studio, but yeah, by the time you get to the studio, I mean, that's the fun part. Is tracking it all down and figuring out how you're going to do this and do that, and oh, we should use this technique on this, and, we should make the snare sound like this, or hey, we should do this cool thing here. I don't know. That's the fun part.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that get as far as the perfectionist side of it. That it can drive them crazy, just because never want to finalize it because there's always something to improve. But it's also kind of like we've talked about before, a snapshot in time and in that week, or whatever it is that
Yeah,
for that album or EP or song or whatever it is. It's just what you come up with in that short amount of time.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I can see like people. I mean, I've been a perfectionist about some things, but I mean, some of the most popular music right now
Hmm.
is not very perfect. You know
No.
what I
You're right.
mean? It's
Hmm.
not it's not done perfect. So I mean, like so that also goes to show you that most of the listeners don't really. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff in music that just sometimes people gravitate towards more raw sounding stuff.
Right.
So I mean, sometimes overproducing can kill a song for sure.
Yeah.
Like
Um,
there's a band called the Rolling Stones that made a living at almost falling apart
Right.
forever. So, uh,
That's 100% right.
yep.
Cody, one of the reasons, well, I don't know that it matters, but one of the reasons why we chose that song. So personally, I'm a fan of artists that kind of have diversity in their songs, a bunch of different sounds. And I think, for if somebody was just introduced to your music, they might hear Million Miles or maybe some of your Billy Bob's tracks, which I would like to ask you about that whole
Yep.
experience. But this is quite a bit different, and I think it shows that versatility. Which kudos to you for doing that and not making every song sound very similar. So since I guess we're on Billy Bob's, tell us about that experience getting to record that album. That had to be exciting.
Now that was nerve wracking because that was not in the studio and that was
Right.
in front of a lot of
Okay.
people. So that was a little. I was more nervous for that for sure. So going into June of 2023 when we did that, so we had already played Billy Bob's once or twice before that. I think in 21 and 22. Um, so we had already done it. So in your mind, you're like, okay, I've already done this. I've
Right.
played Billy Bob. So this,
No sweat.
all we're gonna do this time is just hit record, and it should be fun.
Right.
So, in retrospect, that's exactly how it went. The guy I recorded with in the studio, I had him rent and bring a bunch of gear, so it was all set up in the green room, so everything was being tracked live. Um, and so yeah, we did some we had a lot of band rehearsals before. I think there was a venue in North Texas and McKinney called Hanks.
Yeah.
We set up at Hanks for like 2 days, and we did rehearsals at Hanks. So shout out to them. They're no longer in business,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
sad.
RIP. But yeah, we did some rehearsing at Hanks, and Yeah, we threw as many songs on the set list as we could think that people would want to hear. And then when we were in the studio, everyone was there. Some of the people that were putting it on were like, maybe it doesn't need to be this long. We're like, no, we're putting every song on there. Like, what are you talking about? We're not cutting any songs. Like,
Right.
we did that whole thing. It was like, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, like honestly, like nothing was overdubbed. The only thing added was I just added like some vocal harmonies in the studio behind it. So like all the main vocals, all the guitar, all the drums, or everything that was tracked live. You know, I just don't have me to sing my own harmonies on stage, so
That's tough.
I just added some harmonies here and there, just of like how I would do like in the studio. And so just add a little spice. And I shared it with friends. I was like, I would share a song with friends or with a friend, be like, "Do you notice anything weird here?" And they'd be like, "No," and be like, "So you didn't notice me singing my own harmonies to a live song?" They were like, "No, wouldn't even thought about that." And I was like, "Okay, cool."
Never mind.
But yeah, so that was super fun. Was doing that. Yeah, I was super like nervous about it because I was just like, oh God, what if I forget words to a song like I do every other night? You know, what if that's what if that's a bad memory night where I'm just forgetting everything and making
Right.
up lyrics? That could be terrible, but dude, it all worked out for the best. I just tried to like be as present as possible as I could, but um and I'm sure I'll have more things down the line where I gotta, focus in and be in that mindset again. But it definitely does take a lot of like mental focus to not like try to overthink while you're in the moment doing
Right,
it, because
staying
you don't want to be too tense and too overthinking about like, oh, what's this word, what's the word, what's the chord, what's the chord, what's the next song. You
right.
don't want to be in that mind frame. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of learning. And I mean, yeah, I definitely, I would love to record another live show again, or even do like, I know like Kody Johnson, they did a live album, and they did like, I think they did like they took recordings from like a bunch of different shows.
Right.
It could have been 5 shows or 20 shows or the whole year's worth of shows. I forget how they did it, but I heard that they took songs from Phoenix one night, then the next song was probably from Little Rock or Dallas
Mhm.
or
Right.
whatever.
That's cool.
And like Lincoln Park, like back in the early 2000s, they did live in Texas, and the audio I think is from Dallas, or the audio is from the Houston show, and the video is from the Dallas show, but it's all synced up because it's all on click,
Yeah.
all on time, so you
Right.
can't really tell. But uh,
Oh, that's
yeah,
cool. Insider info
I
there.
don't know. There's a lot of stuff that goes behind like the
Sure.
scenes of like making something like that I learned and got
Well,
to pick up on.
I think it's I mean, when you look at the list of people that have done Billy Bob's live,
Yeah.
that's the thing um that would make me slightly nervous or fearful that I would forget something. I mean, it's a massive list of huge artists. So kudos to you, man. It's just, I actually introduced somebody who's kind of what I would call country adjacent. They're not a huge country fan, and I was trying to find them somebody to kind of bridge that. So I gave them that live album to listen to,
Uh-huh.
and they haven't turned it off for 2 weeks.
Oh,
So
good.
like every day they're texting me like, "Man, why you been hiding this guy from me?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't been hiding him." So anyway, just a cool little follow up on that.
Yeah, man. That was a super fun project, and I'm glad that's out. And yeah, I think people enjoy it, and people like the covers we did live. So we tried to we tried to pick the covers that we knew that we enjoy playing and that people like. So
Yeah, Mr.
it was a fun set list to put together.
That's what
Yeah,
I
that
was gonna
Mr.
say.
Brightside
Yeah.
is insane. I mean,
Yeah, that was
how
a
good is
fun one.
that?
Yeah, that's like a live show cheat code. You want
Yeah.
people to sing. If you want people to sing a song while you're on stage, play that one.
Yep, it works.
It
Yeah.
works, yeah, for sure. But no, it's a fun song. It's not the easiest song to play by any means. Lyrically, it's very easy because the verses are the same words and it's just the same chorus. So you don't have to like really learn a bunch of words. But yeah, the guitar and the drums are a little
Instrumental.
difficult.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Repetitive, I should say.
So, just to point out to folks that may not have pay attention on TikTok or YouTube or anything, but in the chats we've had a couple upcoming guests and former guests. Zach Wilkerson
What's up, Zach?
said what's up,
Hey, Zach.
and a fellow named Hockett that's going to be on the Muffin Man on TikTok.
Nice.
So yeah. So no, it's just cool to see.
Does he live on Drury Lane?
We have many questions.
That's a question. Yeah. You'll have to tune in for the podcast
Okay,
to find out. But no, it's just cool to see other artists stop by and give a listen to someone else.
nice.
And so as Cynthia always has good questions. So she said she asked at that 2:30 a.m. bluegrass YouTube trip, are there a certain artist that you gravitate towards?
For bluegrass?
Yep.
Yeah, I love watching all of I love watching like all the Alison Krauss and Dan Tominski stuff, the Union Station. That was like, I remember listening to that on my iPod like in middle school, like going to sleep to that album, like that live stuff. Jerry Douglas on Dobro, like I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Tony Rice, I love watching Tony Rice play guitar. Church Street Blues. I don't know. One of my guitars, I took the original pick guard off and I put a replica of a Tony Rice pick guard on there. I don't know if Tony Rice had a piece of real Japanese tortoise on his guitar, which is illegal now to have a real piece of tortoise on a guitar, obviously for reasons. But I got a faux one made up that was an exact replica. So it's like a tiger stripe almost. It's they're really unique looking. But
Yeah.
I love a bunch of those old Bartons that have that real tortoise on there because the patterns in real tortoise is way better than any faux tortoise in my opinion. Who else? I sent you a video. The Deer Creek Boys.
Yeah, I saw that.
Someone needs to go look up a song called I think it's Amy, or something like that by the Deer Creek Boys. It's like a rehearsal video of them like at someone's house or something like that. But it's a killer song.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
That's just one thing that I don't know why I just didn't think.
And Billy Strings too. I watch anything like there. I feel like there's so many live videos of Billy Strings playing. I feel like every show he plays, they record it and put up a video of it.
That's the jam band thing.
I love watching his videos for sure. And like his rig rundown, I'm a big gear nerd, so like I love seeing like what other people are doing like with their guitars and where their ins and outs are and how they do stuff.
I'll have to send you my rig rundown on TikTok.
Okay, cool.
Did you get your new pedal board built yet?
Who, me?
Yeah, you were. I think last time we chatted, you were getting ready.
Yeah, I've got all the supplies. I'm just the guy that builds our stuff. He lives in McKinney, McKinney, Texas, kind of close to here. So I think I'm just waiting on him to email me and say, hey, bring your stuff over because I mean he stays very busy. I imagine. I am a little fish in who he builds rigs for. You should see some of the bands that he does work for. It's insane. I'm just lucky enough that he lives 25 minutes from me.
Yeah, super cool. Are we just in terms of time? Are we ready to get to rapid fire? Yeah.
I was just going to say, I'm talking to Kody there and several other folks that we've had on from Texas and Oklahoma and stuff, and I'm just kind of surprised. I guess I don't know why, but. Just when I think of Texas and think of Oklahoma, but I don't think bluegrass. It's always the hills of Tennessee and Kentucky and Virginia and all that. But I mean, there's a bunch of people that have been on that even if they don't play it, they love it. Which is I just wouldn't have thought so.
I think also is like I mean the church I went to. I mean, most of the worship was all bluegrass or country versions of those songs. So, and I played on I my guitar wasn't plugged in, but I played on stage, at the Bolivar Baptist Church growing up. So, that was very kind of bluegrass and country, because it was a small town Southern Baptist church. So I think a lot of that kind of comes from like maybe what church you went to. I mean, there's a lot of gospel churches in Texas too. So a lot of some of the best drummers and bands are guys that grew up playing gospel music, because gospel drummers are some of the best drummers on the planet. So I think it kind of depends on what are your first introductions to music are and playing live music. And for me, it was taking guitar lessons from this UNT jazz major every Wednesday at 4 p.m. after school for 3 years, and then playing Johnny Cash and bluegrass music. That was I watched that movie Walk the Line as a kid, and I was just like, oh, I want to be Johnny Cash. So country music and bluegrass. That was a big part of like my early guitar learning when I was a kid.
Gotcha.
I probably should have learned all the jazz music my teacher was trying to teach me, but I was like, yeah, that's real cool. Now, can you teach me Folsom Prison Blues?
Right.
I don't need to learn this jazz stuff, but I probably should have picked up on that. I probably would have been a way better musician.
Well, I think it also goes to like just the geographic like size of the state. And I know people from Texas kind of maybe get a hard time talking about how big it is, but it's a massive state. And so as you go north and east, and then there's kind of a bluegrass.
Texarkana.
Yeah, you go north and east, and then even into southeast Oklahoma, goes all the way up into Kansas. There's a town called Winfield, and that whole strip through there, there's a ton of bluegrass music. Now, obviously, as you go further south in Texas, it has a little different flavor, but like it's
still acoustic string music.
Yeah. And like Whitesboro, which is not too terribly far from where Kody is. I mean, they've got like, I don't know, not all the best fiddle players, but they've got like an insane amount of folks from there that are just so good. So it is interesting, and probably not what you would expect.
Well, yeah, the first one I think that came up was Lance Rourke. He's extremely. I mean, he's a country music artist, but he's heavily influenced on his playing on bluegrass for sure.
100%.
All right, we can get rolling on the.
We'll get to rapid fire, and then Kody, we have a really important question to finish out the night. But these will be pretty easy, I think. So
cool.
Spotify Wrapped came out a little over 30 days ago. Any idea who was on your list?
I don't know. I don't know if I did it. Let me think.
Or who might be on your top couple?
Let me pull up Spotify here, and I can tell you who my recent searches are. How about that?
Yeah, that's cool. Get a peek behind the curtain.
Yeah. All right. So the first one, a guy named Ken Yates. Great singer-songwriter. He's got some great songs. Next is my buddy Garrett Bryan. Yep. He's a fantastic songwriter out of Texas. Kodak Black. Looks like I was listening to him recently.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. Let's see. I was listening to a classic album, Parachutes by Coldplay. That's if I want to listen to like a nostalgic album, I'm going to turn on that one for sure.
Man, there's been several old moments for me over here, Tabo. Now I know how you feel.
You think?
I know. When he's talking about Walk the Line when I was a kid, and then he talks about nostalgic for Coldplay, and I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue on.
Next, we've got Rustin Kelly, fantastic songwriter.
Yep.
Next, we have a band called Movements, which is like a alternative rock band.
Okay.
Wolf Mother. I was listening to, I guess, Joker and the Thief.
Nice.
Rich O'Toole, great Texas songwriter.
For sure.
Action Bronson, great rapper.
I don't know.
And Briston Maroney is who I'm looking at here. That's going pretty far down the list.
Yeah, cool, man. That's perfect.
I'm wondering if the action has anything to do with Charles Bronson, because he was in all the action movies, and then
could be
probably so. Action Bronson is a crazy character. I've been watching his YouTube videos since I was like in high school. He was this chef in New York big white guy, probably like 350 pounds. But he was a chef in New York, fell, broke his leg, started rapping, and like made a career out of it. He's really good.
Worked with what he had. That's amazing. All right, so Desert Island album. You only get to pick one album. Is it Parachutes or is it something else?
Desert Island album.
Yeah, you're just gonna take one with you.
Yeah, I'll take Parachutes with me. That'll do it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Look at that. I could sit on a beach and listen to that one. That'd be either that one or a Kenny Chesney album. If I'm gonna be on an island, I mean,
Okay, yeah.
you know what I mean.
You want to fit the vibe, right? All right, dinner with one historical figure. They can be past or current.
Historical figure. Oh gosh, so many.
It's a big world.
It's a lot of history.
Let's go with. I don't know. That's a great question. Let's go with Einstein.
Okay. Feel like that would be intelligent to do, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might be able to help you get off that island.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, or Jack Sparrow. He could probably tie a bunch of turtles together with the hair on our back or whatever.
Nice. All right, so this is more for me, but I'm curious what you see when you play. So I've seen you live multiple times, but I want to know what it is, what's going on back there when you're playing.
Well, I guess it kind of also depends on like the venue. Sometimes you're focused in on like this guy that's dancing real weird, like in the like. Are you like what I'm visually seeing or what's going on in my mind?
Well, so because some people play a little bit with their eyes kind of closed, part of the time, and then some. I mean, everybody has a little bit different perspective, but some people see colors, some people see shapes, some people are just in flow.
I see a blank page with lyrics on it, trying not to forget it.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I guess sometimes I'll feel. I'm like, you ever be driving and you're like, I don't remember those last 3 stoplights.
Yeah, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That happens on stage too.
Yeah. Okay.
Being
it'll
in
be
the
like
zone with your guys.
Well, you'll be like, did we do the second verse
Yeah.
already? Are we about to go into the
Panic.
second verse again, or is this a bridge? Or
Right.
oh, okay, here we go. So
When they hit the bridge, you're like, oh shit, did I mess up? Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, sometimes you can be an autopilot for sure, but I mean that's anybody with anything. I mean,
Sure.
You can definitely afford to be an autopilot more while you're mowing your yard, but yeah, you try to catch yourself while you're on stage as often as you can, but you also try not to. You try to focus as much as you can on stage.
Good answer.
But I guess what am I seeing? No, I don't really see colors. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have
See the
to.
lyrics.
This Friday, I'm gonna think about that while I'm on stage.
I'm sorry.
Then
I hope it doesn't.
Then he
end
forgets the
badly.
words.
I'm only playing 45 minutes on Friday or
Okay,
Saturday,
alright.
so it'll be an easy set.
All of a sudden, I'm gonna have a bunch of people mad at me. All right, so ideal green room, Cody. What is in your ideal green
There
room?
must be a washer and a dryer. There must be a bathroom because I hate walking through the venue to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. That's,
At least just have like some water back there for us. I hate going to a venue, then 3 hours later, then they bring you a case of water that's just been sitting outside or something. So
right.
some nice water backstage. Maybe if you're feeling good, maybe you can get us some trail mix. But yeah, we're not too picky.
Pretty simple. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah, we do. I mean, we have a rider with some stuff on it, but
Right. It's amazing how often bathrooms come up. And maybe it's not amazing, but it's amazing for somebody who doesn't do what you do for a living to hear like a clean bathroom, or a bathroom,
a bathroom.
Yeah, right. So
Yeah.
all right.
Because like other than that, like you gotta wait till like you get to your hotel after the show, or you go next door and try to bombard their place, or you got to go find the 24-hour fitness or something, or
Right.
yeah. Finding a bathroom on the road is definitely very clutch. Anytime you see a Love's, it's just like, oh, good.
We're stopping. Yeah. First concert that you went to, and then also the first concert maybe that you paid to go to.
First concert I went to. Probably like it was probably like Randy Rogers at like Lone Star Park or something like that.
Yeah.
Was like the first like concert, first one I ever paid to go to. Probably the same.
Same. Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
What's a good one?
but yeah, because it was like if you were under 21 and you got to Lone Star Park before 9, it was $5 to get in.
Yep.
And if you got there after 9, it was like 15 or 20.
Right.
But Lone Star, it's in Grand Prairie, Texas. It's a horse racing track. And after the races, they would bring a huge stage. I mean, looking back at it now, I wish like
Yeah,
that would have been a
chance to play
sick gig to
Yeah,
play
for
because
sure.
I mean there was thousands of people there, and they wheel this big old stage out on the track, and you're playing. It was a really cool. I was there the night when Randy Rogers recorded They did a music video to the song Interstate that came out at the
Oh, yeah.
time.
Oh, I didn't know that's where it was recorded. Okay.
Well, they did the music video there at least, and they did it like 4 times in a row. And like they also like they were telling like here are the words, so like they could also maybe get a shot of someone singing the words like in the front row. Like it was really cool. Like looking back, like that was probably a super cool moment in their careers was doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, me as a 15-year-old or 16-year-old kid who didn't really know anything about playing music live at the time, like looking back at that now, that was probably really sick on their part.
Yeah, for sure. All right, a couple more, and then we'll hand you off for the big question. You've played some pretty awesome venues, but I'm curious: is there a venue or maybe a couple venues that you would like to play that you haven't played yet?
Venues I would like to play that I haven't played. Definitely number one on the list would be like Red Rocks for sure. That's probably like, I mean,
Yeah.
that's like a mecca. I've been to shows there, but yeah, I've never gotten that glorious email saying, "Hey, would you like to come play or open for someone here?"
Yes.
Red Rocks definitely at the top. There's that really cool place in Nashville, Brooklyn Bowl in Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard that's a really sick room. I haven't played that. I haven't done like Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. That would be fun to get on a show there.
Perfect.
I mean, we've only played I think we've played a hockey arena with Co Wetzel one time, a bunch of like 3 or 4 years ago. But I'd love to play another arena at some point in time. But I mean, we'll take it whenever it comes.
Great choices, Dick. Man, I'm amazed at how I've been to 2 concerts now at Dickies, and I can't believe how great it sounds. Because most of the time you get in some of those places, and it can be
sound like a
little
tin can
hit
or something.
Yeah. Man, whatever they did to build Dickies, like they
figured it out.
Yeah,
nice. I haven't even been to a rodeo there yet or to a concert there. So
it's cool. That's
cool.
Super cool. All right, last question I have is tribute bands, yay or nay?
Like in general?
Yep.
Yeah, dude. Fuck. Do some people not like tribute bands?
Some people don't. Some people don't.
What's their beef with it?
Well, I don't want to speak for everybody, but in general, there is.
It takes away some of the gigs, I believe.
Yeah,
it's
I think it's more
thing.
of a strange competitive thing.
Takes away a gig from who?
From original artists.
From
go
original
into
artists.
a copycat artist. Yeah. Understood. It takes this. It's all. There's all
Everybody's
different
got
kinds of
different-
answers. Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see how that would take it. If you're a big band and there's someone else imitating you, I don't see how that would hurt you or take away from you.
No. We're talking about the independents.
Yeah. So
Like if there was like a Kody West cover band.
No. Think about it this way. Think about you're trying, maybe you're doing your own booking and you're trying to get this venue to play, but they're loaded up with 3 days
they're taking up a Saturday that an actual band could be playing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. That's where the
see.
beef comes from, I think.
I see.
I'm speaking in general.
It probably comes more from the venue side than it does the. You know what I mean?
There's plenty. I think when I think of cover bands, I think of them like that's where they make their money at like weddings and like corporate gigs and shit like that. Like
Some
I don't
do
know,
the-
like
Yeah,
how
so-
well does it? How well? I mean, I know like at Lava Cantina, like here in Dallas, like they have like cover bands, but
ton.
I don't know. I've never really thought about it like that, honestly.
No, that's good. Don't.
Like they're hogging a Saturday or something. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
don't
I
let
think
that
most get
occupy
annoyed by
any of
the
your
tribute
mind.
band where they dress up like people and pretend, like a cosplay thing. I think that's where
Yeah.
the
Playing
line
music.
Well,
starts getting
like
drawn.
if it's like a Kiss
But
band, like then they kind of have to, you know what I mean? Like you can't really be a Kiss band and not dress up, or be like a Slipknot band and not dress up.
Right.
So
yeah,
I mean, I guess some of that, but like yeah, like if you're dressing up as, I don't know, like if you're dressing up as Kenny Chesney though, like I don't
that
know.
would be weird.
I don't. Well, it's just like I don't know who you're not hurting anything. I mean, I don't know. Maybe unless you're taking up like a House of Blues night or something like that. But if you're just playing like some regular bar or something like that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that deep, but we do get a wide array of answers to it. So,
Right
all
on.
right, well,
All right.
cleanse your brain of that, because here comes the big question.
Well,
All right.
I had another short question here,
Okay.
because you've been doing this for a bit now, and what comes across your mind, or how does it make you feel when you see people? I'm just a barroom cover musician, right? If you were to see a video of me or anyone else covering one of your songs, like you're scrolling through TikTok and all of a sudden you see some guy singing "Shine Out" or one of your songs, what comes across your mind?
Sick.
You just glad somebody's listening and trying.
Yeah. No, I mean, I do that with artists with like, I mean, Chris Knight could be scrolling on TikTok and see me playing one of his songs, go, oh, this fucking kid, I don't.
Exactly.
But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess if I were to be mad at someone, I'd be guilty of it too. So I mean, but no,
Uh-huh.
I mean, if there's someone wanting to play my song, fucking go for it.
Yeah,
Cool.
awesome.
Cool. I think about that every now and then, and you've been around long enough to, I'm sure you've seen that quite a bit here and there. So
Yeah, I think it's different with musicians. Like if you're a comedian and someone else is doing like your joke, I think that's probably like off limits. But I think with musicians, like I think that's like more of a sign of respect of, or like they're just saying like, hey, I dig this guy's song.
because you've done it too.
But it is funny how like that is different, in different lanes. Like like it's acceptable to cover a Whiskey Myers song, but it's not cool if I go up there and do a Shane Gillis joke, because you know what I mean. Like that's already
Yeah.
been done. I don't know. It's weird how those
Yeah.
dynamics are different.
Yeah,
It is.
definitely. All right. Well, this
That'll be the
dynamic
next podcast.
is way different on this question. So,
Okay.
yeah, Cody. Here, this question started out as a joke on episode number 1, and now it is a requirement that we do this, and then we're still trying to shoot for that sponsorship. Cody, what is your favorite Little Debbie snack?
Do oatmeal cream pies count?
Uh huh.
They absolutely do, and that's the right answer.
All right, easy enough. Oatmeal cream pie.
I knew I like Cody for a reason.
All right. I'll let you take us out then.
All right, well,
since he's in your camp, you can.
He is in my camp.
What I mean, what do you go for?
I'm a oatmeal cream. I mean, fudge round guy, but I'm not that picky. I like them all. So.
Yep.
Yeah, if I have a choice, I'm getting the oatmeal cream pie. That's classic.
I've
right
been
there.
told to either warm them up or freeze them. Lately, I've had both say different things, and I've never experimented with that.
Yeah, I've
but
only
I
ever
will.
had room temp.
I know. Yeah, some wild and crazy people out there.
Yeah, little tip I'll give you, Cody. I'm not a big ice cream person, but apparently there is a Bluebell version of oatmeal cream pie ice cream.
I'm not a big like flavored ice cream guy. I'll be honest with
Okay.
you. Like if I'm getting ice cream, like
Yeah.
I don't mind. Like Rocky Road is about as
Wild
weird
as
as
you
I'm
wanna get.
getting.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's about as wild as I'm getting when it comes to ice cream.
That makes sense. Well, Cody, we appreciate you taking time to hang out with us tonight.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. For everybody that's in the chat, thank you so much for joining. Please make sure you go stream Cody's music, follow him, go find him on socials. I know there's more socials on the way. We love it when you hop on and play a couple songs. So
Yeah,
shout out to you. But man, we really appreciate you taking time to chat with us.
absolutely, man. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, y'all. Take care. Thanks for being here.